I would come home and my neck would be pinching so severely that I was in tears. I was having a lot of pain in my neck, and it was right at the bend where it meets the shoulder area. There's kind of like a little bone hump there, and right in that spot, it was like 1,000 hot pokers going into that spot. It was very sharp. It was just grinding pain. And what seemed to make the pain worse or brought it on, the pain was always there, not always a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. It would be just nagging. You knew it was there, you could deal with it, but it wasn't always a 10. What would make it higher on the scale from the 1 or 2 is I'm on the computer a lot. That's not only my hobby, I like to do it, but I'm on the computer at work a lot. And you're sitting in that position, you're at the keyboard, your neck is bent like this, and if you do that for any length of time, those needles and pins and that sharp, hot feeling would shoot through there, and it would go down into my shoulders, and it was just like somebody was shoving down on your shoulders and holding it for a long time, and they would kind of go numb. I would go over to take a break or whatever. I'd pick up a coffee cup. My cup would drop right out of my hand. It's like I had no grip or feeling, or I'd be holding it, everything be fine, and all of a sudden it would just clunk down on the ground. I was like, I'm dropping stuff. I was walking, and I know this is horrible, but I am not sure why. I know it was a part of it. It was hitting a nerve of some sort, but I would have accidents. I'd be walking to the bathroom, and lo and behold, okay, I had to call for scrubs, okay, because I had an accident, and I couldn't understand, at my age, I shouldn't be doing those things. Something was wrong. When I was having the pain and I would come home from work, I'd be in tears. My children would have to, they're teenage boys, they would have to rub my neck and my shoulders, and this was an everyday thing. They came to my rescue a lot. They had to go through embarrassing moments. The damage that had occurred to my neck and everything had affected my life in so many ways, and not just my life, but my family's life. Before I went for surgery, of course, you always hear the horror stories about Aunt Lala. Okay, Aunt Lala went through this, and she's now paralyzed for the rest of her life, living in a nursing home, drooling down her chin, and all that sort of stuff. I was scared to death. Okay, I did a lot of research on it. I saw the procedure, how it was supposed to go, and but you always hear those horror stories, and nobody likes to tell the good stories, which I'm sure there's a lot more good stories than there are bad, but you always hear the bad stories. So I was scared out of my wits. Working at the hospital, it kind of helped me to find Dr. Deuk. I asked around. I talked to a lot of people that are on the orthopedic unit and surgical unit, and I said, hey, who's the person that I need to talk to? And they said, well, no, they gave me the names, and I went to Dr. Deuk, and I said, hey, you were recommended to me by people on the surgical floor, and I came to talk to you about what happened. And when you're working in the hospital, and I know this sounds crazy, but nurses have this certain way they look at doctors, okay, and they walk in the room, and in the old days they used to stand at attention when doctors came in the room. Okay, attention, when we're not in the military, times have changed, it's not quite like that. But I still had this bigger than life kind of vision of Dr. Deuk, and until I met him. And what a nice man that Dr. Deuk is. He came in, he's very personable, he's grounded, he's just an everyday person, and when he explained things to you, he made me feel so very comfortable. I had a cervical fusion and disc replacement, I guess you would call it, from the C4 through C7. They went through the front, not the back, and it's the best thing I ever did. When I got back to my room and I came out of everything, the anesthesia and all that sort of stuff, the nurses came in, and of course they're checking on you and all that sort of stuff, and then physical therapy came in. And they're one of the first people I actually saw in my room besides the nurse, and I had a neck brace on. They came in and put a neck brace around my neck, and she said, let's take that off for just a moment. She says, because we're going to do a little physical therapy. I wasn't awake, but maybe a couple hours. I was like, are we sure? You sure we're supposed to do that this soon? She's like, oh, absolutely. I'm like, okay. And I worked with this girl, so I knew. She knew what she was talking about. So she says, I'd like you to look all the way up. So I put my neck as far back as I could. She says, all the way to the right. And I went as far as I could, which was pretty far. And then all the way to the left. And then we did these up and down motions, and we went through. She says, goodness. She says, you are really doing great. And I was like, I couldn't do all that before without pain. It was wonderful, and I'm able to do it. And within an hour, I was up walking, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's gone. It's gone. He fixed it. After I had the surgery, they, of course, when you go in for it and you go in and you schedule everything, they give you everything in advance. They give you all your directions, your prescriptions, so you have everything before you ever go into the surgery. So I had all my meds filled. It was a muscle relaxer and a pain pill. Percocet, actually, was the pain medicine. And after the surgery, I think I used the pain medicine for 2 days, if that. I still have the majority of the bottle, which I have to find out how to dispose of it because I don't need it anymore. There is no way I could have gotten down like this. Actually, I probably could have gotten down. I would never have gotten back up again without somebody on either side and somebody pushing my hind end up. This is the scar from the surgery that I had, and you can see it's not very big. It's the Deuk badge of honor, as they would call it. A lot of scars will go this way. Dr. Deuk's goes this way. As you can see, there's not much to it. Can't hardly see it. Oh good, my son's on, as a matter of fact, and that's the whole reason I like Facebook. He just got home from Afghanistan, and it's so nice to see him and be able to talk to him. So when I did go back to work, I was full capacity. I didn't have to go on light duty, nothing of that sort. I was able to go back as a full working person and productive in that job. It was a great moment when I got back to life because I like my swimming pool. Okay, that's why I bought this house. It's going to be my retirement home. I moved here for that reason. And the pool was an integral part of that. I love swimming. I love playing in the pool. I love floating around, all those sort of things. And part of that is being out there and maintaining it, and I couldn't do that before, and I can now. There's no way I would have been able to do this kind of action. It would have hurt my shoulder, my neck. I just wouldn't have been able to do it. Now I can. He knows what he's doing. And I put my life in his hands, and I would do it again if I have to. And anybody in my family, if it was need be, I would send them to Dr. Deuk. I think for anybody that is considering having this procedure done or any procedure to their neck, to their back, Dr. Deuk is the guy for you. He is the one that can fix it for you. I have every confidence in him in the world. And I thank you, Dr. Deuk, because you saved me in so many ways that I can have my life back and my family and do the things that I could do before. So I appreciate you. Thank you.